Good evening, everybody. Good evening here in the Philippines. Turning on some lights out at the beach. Get them hooked up here, and I want to talk to you guys. I want to show you something. Check out this moonlight night happening here. Yeah, nice moonlight night. So today there was a fire. Some kids set that fire down the beach here at the Hernandez property. Over at Solimar, some of the employees or something said they seen the 3 kids doing it. The kids ran away, and that could have burned down the Hernandez's little beach house right there. And if it would have spread, it could have took out many other people's homes too. And I ran back as fast as I could to get my guys and all of our pals and asked them to please go help. And JJ and Cap had walked down there with me to check out that fire. And when I ran back and got the crew, they got in the bucket brigade line, helping pass water and put out the fire. So JJ and Cap, thank you for joining in to help in our community too. Let me climb up here. I'm gonna show you what's going on. I'm up here in the Sea Ray, and we're gonna talk about this. Talk about the Sea Ray, man. It's dusty and dirty right now. It's just so dry here, and it's just nothing but dust in there. Everything, everywhere is covered in dust. Today, Cap came over and we were visiting, and we were talking about this diesel motor here and all. And I tell you, man, I'm just hadn't gave up on it yet. That I want to check that timing, and I've just been procrastinating to come out here and do it. It's been so hot, and we've been so busy with so many other tasks. And I said, but you know, that motor's famous for burning up piston number 3. Now, what I need you guys to understand, they're maybe new to the channel or you forgot. This is a diesel boat, not a gas. So all you that keep giving me suggestions, you're giving me gas motor suggestions and not diesel motor. And it's not ignition timing, it's not a spark timing, there's no pulling out a spark plug, it's no setting it with a timing light. It's none of those things, because this is a diesel engine. Today when Cap was here, he just made the most simple suggestion, and it was just something I had forgot about having here. He said, how come you haven't put your endoscope camera down in that cylinder? And I'm like, oh my God. I own this endoscope camera here and forgot all about it. I had it locked up in the cabinet, and just, that's the way it is when you got too much bullshit. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all about that. So we got out here, and Kat and JJ hung out with me, and I pulled the glow plug, put the endoscope camera down inside cylinder number 3, and I've been taking pictures of it. They're not the best pictures in the world, but it's because it's not the best endoscope camera in the world. Right here, there it is going down into the glow plug hole, and here it is over here on my old laptop, and that's a live view there right now of down in the cylinder and the piston. And I've been moving it around. You can see me here, I'll move it and have a look. And there's a number on the piston as well that I've already took pictures of and got, which is B3772, and so I can look that up also. And the cylinder walls, now you're getting a mirroring effect in there, so you have to be careful on the glare from the lights. But let me turn this off on here. So the cylinder walls, we have raised the piston up and down and really adjust this thing and look at them. And the cylinder walls look really good. There was a place that if we caught the camera just right on this piston that did look a little suspect, But this cheap endoscope camera I have, I can't flex it. I can't make it wiggle on the end, you know, and point around there different ways. So I am having a little trouble with that. I took some still shots and video with this camera down in there, and what I'm doing is I'm pushing it against the piston right now to try to make it bend the camera so I can get a better side angle. But man, the cylinder walls look so good, and what I can see of the piston here, to this side that has the information on it, I don't see a blemish, but there was a place. Look at that. Let me get back there again and get a shot of that. Bear with me, I'm gonna lay this down a second, take a still shot right there. I'm gonna take a photo. I'm gonna get this in on my other laptop that I can enhance these photos and do things to them, and do negatives, change them, and it'll bring things that you might not normally see. It'll bring out. But I'm very limited, and see there's a place on the piston right there that I'm kind of suspect about, but not really sure if it's truly damage or just some type of little bit of carbon maybe. Trying to make that camera flex a little bit down in there so I could get a little bit more side view of the other side of the piston. There we go. So that's the cylinder wall. If I could just get it off of that cylinder wall, that would be a big help. I just cannot ever get it over to see the other side of the piston, and that's one of the problems I'm having, because this thing does not have a way to steer it or control it like your better endoscopes do. This was just a cheap thing. I bought the run down the drain pipe, y'all remember. But I can see where the camera scratched at the piston just then, so I know right where I slid it down to, because there's the little tracks it just slid and on it down in there, so I know right where the camera's hitting the piston. Yep. Man, if it would just roll the other way. Yeah, well, I have managed a few times to get to the little center button of the piston, and once I go any further, now that's the glow plug hole right there. That's me going out the glow plug hole, just entering, and so I can see 3/4 of the piston there, and I don't see any damage on it. If you go out there to YouTube, you're not going to find nothing on this motor of anybody doing any work on it on YouTube. You'll find pictures of people showing a run in their boats, you know, 1 or 2 minute videos of them buzzing around the water, or raising the cowling and cranking it up and you seeing it running, or motors that are pulled out for sale and they're cranking them up and you see them running and things like that. But no true breakdown videos on this motor. Right now I'm gonna put that plug back in the glow plug hole so no trash enters. I'm gonna take this laptop in, switch the video and the still shots that I took over to my other laptop that I can manipulate the images and maybe, you know, do some contrast and different things to bring out more features on that piston. But I can see 3/4 of it over here right now, and I don't know, unless there's something in that one little fourth part that I can't see, which could be, because that's all it takes. I'll let you know a little bit more what happens on it. Hello everybody. Well, it's Sunday about midday, and Cap's downstairs in my boat. We've been here working on it. You could line up the crank mark, but you couldn't line up the cam mark, the injection pump mark would line up, the crank mark would line up, but the head mark was off. So here we are, this is the motor. And to back up again, for any of you who hadn't seen my previous videos, they are famous for the wastegate sticking, over boosting the motor, and burning out, overheating, cracking, or melting a hole in piston number 3, then secondary 2 and 1, and 4th for some reason being the last to go. Okay, so I haven't had that situation. I checked the wastegate, it's all working properly. I put this cheap little boost gauge on here, it's up front. So I just did not feel that the pistons were damaged, and this motor still runs. It's just lacking of power. So I bought a compression gauge set, and I went in down here, and my particular motor does not have glow plugs, but it has a plug in the hole. So if I can get the camera down in there, right down in there, has a plug in the hole where the glow plug will go. So that's going to be my access point to do a compression test. I bought a compression gauge set for diesels. You can't use one from a gas because diesel compression, it well exceeds what a gas motor does. And so, and because of that, the gauge needs to go higher, and all the fittings need to be, and hose and all, a higher grade for that high pressure. Pulled these out. My friend Cappett's here with me, helped me out, and we started testing the compression on the cylinders from hardly no compression to a little more to a little more to number 4 being almost full compression, enough that it runs strong. So the engine cranks, and it's basically running off of 4 mostly, and a little bit off of 1, and 2 and 3 are just null and void. That was my original thought, was valve timing, wasn't it? I said, I bet it's a tooth off, that it could have jumped 1 tooth and it'll allow it to still run and have low compression. If you get this lined up right down here on the crank, you got a TDC bolt for your injection pump that goes in right here and into the block. You should put it with this mark lined up. It's down in behind, back down here. You got to lay down, it's way back down in the back. You can't even see it. I can put my finger on it unless I lay down and look from the bottom. And you get that mark lined up, then this hole right here on the injection pump is a TDC hole, and you should be able to put a bolt through there and thread it in. And then this one here on the camshaft is your TDC for the camshaft. You should be able to put a bolt through there and line it up. All 3 of them, 2 bolts should be in that pointer, and you're timed right. If you're in the right rotation of the motor, and you can look at the cam lobes in here. If they're turned, the direction they're turned, if they're turned off of opening any valves, well, then you know you're on the right stroke, because you can look down there and see the lobes both away from pushing the valves down. So you know you're on the right stroke. Then everything should line up, and guess what? You line this one up on this motor, on that pointer, you can get the bolt in the injection pump, but you can't get the one in the head. It's like 1 tooth off. Little timing mark. I'm at an angle, so it probably looks like it's off, but when you get right down there at it, it's up straight. Then this is the injection pump, and there's the TDC with a temporary bolt stuck in it. And now if you come to this one up here, this one, the hole is off. You see there's the hole down there at an angle, but if you look straight in, it's off. I should be able to put this bolt in there and hit it, but the hole is about 8 millimeters down below it right there. So that is definitely the timing off on this motor. It's 1 tooth out, and I didn't do it. I received the motor that way. I didn't start the boat yet. I think it's gonna crank though, man. The compression feels good. I didn't put the compression tester on it, but turning over the motor and lining up the timing belt, and then rotating a couple times after you get the belt on there to make sure everything feels right, and check your marks again after you did a couple full rotations on it. All the marks still lined up, and the motor felt way tighter. So I need to get the top timing belt cover on, but I want to get all my mess cleaned up, get everything cleaned up in order before I start it. I don't want stuff shaking and falling down in the boat and all of that. So we'll follow up on this, because right now it's Melinda's dad's birthday, and I need to go over here and spend family time, not be farting with a boat. So we'll pick back up on this and see what happens with this diesel running. Good morning, everybody. Yep, again and again and again, it's another sunny, hot day here in the Philippines. It's another sunny, hot day, and look at that. No boat sitting here. No boat sitting there. I'm hoping, that the problem's fixed. Well, I'm out here with my boat projects, and I got my old green truck out here, and I'm about to give the green truck and the boat both a bath. I'm gonna get this thing a good bath. Probably tonight I'm gonna go take it out and launch it, and I'll put on the extended tongue that we have built for this that latches in between here, that we can push this boat way on out into the water. Anyway, I'm excited for that, so I'm gonna do a lot of prep today and just giving it a good bath. So I've got that motor off. I'm gonna go set the Yamaha on here later. I got online, and from Amazon I ordered also the correct spark plugs for that little Yamaha 2-stroke. Whoever had put the plugs in it here had put the wrong one. They are not the right ones for that motor. That's probably, and they gave me extras, but that's probably why they were fouling out all the time. So I've got the correct plugs now, and then let me show you something else I made a recent video about, and let me show you what's going on here with this. So this also come in today for that Yamaha, the fuel pipe assembly going down to the tank, to the fuel cell. And I bought original, genuine Yamaha. And I tell you what, I read some reviews on there, and people on those other lines and stuff sold on Amazon stated, you know, I wasted my money with this line, I wasted my money with that line, and they had problems with their boats, and they had running issues. They thought it was something else, thought it was something with the carburetor, something else in the fuel system, and it turned out it was just those junky fuel lines. And also the breaking and cracking and all, as these other lines here did, like this right here, and it's just so brittle. You can just, in some places, just break it in two. You can just snap it with your hand, and like just about snapped in two right there, just bending it. So everybody that wrote any kind of comment that was worth its snuff wrote to just spend the money and just buy the original Yamaha fuel line. I did. It was about 3 times the price, but you're getting rid of 3 times less headaches or more. Well, it's another beautiful evening here. A very beautiful evening. And I'm backing the boat out. We got a high tide come in later, and I'm gonna put the boat out. So I got it backed up here right now, and I'm gonna back it on down in here further and be ready for high tide. I've got the Yamaha back on here. I set it off there. 4 controls set up here on it too, shift and steering. I've got the gas tank right here, the fuel cell strapped here on the back to a grab bar right there, and plus it's got these little things here, and there's grooves in the tank, and it sits in there on them. I've got my rope laying up here on the bow right now, and I've got my old big anchor here because out here in this sand, I like using this big anchor because it plows in deep, and I'm worried that little old regular plow anchor may not hold as well as this big old joker right here. So I got a rubber mat laying here, and all I have to do is just connect it back up. So all ready for that, and then I'll be finding out if the diesel's running right now or not, the fact that it was out of valve timing. So my plans is I'm gonna launch it tonight, and I'm going to anchor it out, and maybe everything's always a maybe, a question mark, but I thought I might anchor it out and then have it ready that in the morning at daylight I would go out and do some trial runs with it. It's kind of what I was thinking, you know. So that's the plan. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy the evening here. I'll talk to you guys later. Well, we had a pretty good time. The twins and Melinda and myself, we went swimming, and we got our float line tied back out, and now I've got the boat backed out here right now, ready to launch, and I'm just waiting for the tide to come up. So it's about 7 o'clock right now. The tide's been getting later, rising each night, so it's probably gonna be 11 o'clock. It'll be in pretty high. Midnight it'll be up really high. Well, I sure got a lot of optimism on my boat right now. Tide's coming in. Look at that beautiful moon right there, man. Isn't that nice? Yeah, lots of optimism right now on the boat. It's out here right now. The back wheel's almost completely submerged. Front wheel's getting there. I'm gonna wade out here carefully and not get my camera in the salt water. I've got it here running. It's just purring like a kitten, man. The motor actually sounds different than it did before. It actually sounds right. It does. Got the front part of the cover off right now, sitting over here. She is just purring like a kitten. Little compadre chilling like a villain. She's tired but chilling, hanging in there with the team.